gentlemen. We are nearing the InfoWars Command Center, but we're in famous I-35 traffic because the globalists will never expand these roads. They just build giant toll roads 20 miles outside town nobody can use. Now they want to turn this into a toll road. It's illegal. You can't take an existing road, but so what? Maybe we'll talk to Richard some about it coming up. John, I know I'm cutting in frothing because it's freaking me out that, I'm not kidding, they've ordered armored pillboxes for the TSA. They're now on highways pulling people out of cars. They got Border Patrol 200 miles inside Texas harassing citizens. In San Antonio, they've got the Air Force MPs out on the street searching people. And they come over with sidearms in America and go, we're going to search you at the Riverwalk. I mean, this country is going into martial law. In the 5 minutes we've got left with you here, John of TSA Out of Our Pants, what else is going on with the TSA? You mentioned earlier there's a revolt against them, and that they're trying to tell them, basically that they've got to grope harder.
So we saw recently that the TSA has quietly disciplined and fired a bunch of TSA screeners in the state of Florida. They haven't gone as far as to say exactly why they were disciplined, other than to say that they weren't following proper procedures. And in the last few months, I've interviewed several TSA screeners that have come to me to tell me stories of TSA abuse. And one thing that I've learned is that these guys actually don't like the body scanners. They don't like the groping. 99% of TSA screeners are disgusted by what they have to do, and they're disgusted by how they're treated by the public as a result, and rightfully so. You spend all day groping people, and you're going to get a lot of complaints about, why are you being such a fascist, and why is this becoming a police state, and why are you helping? People don't like that. The people that work with the TSA wish that it would go back to the way it was, right before the TSA started, where there was normal metal detectors, if there were normal pat-downs, if there was something that needed to be resolved, and that's it. So apparently there were several screeners that refused to follow procedure. We don't know exactly what happened yet, and the TSA is trying not to tell us. But there's a lot of investigation going on. It's going to come out sooner or later.
Well, let me raise this next point, since you mentioned that, Mr. Corbett, that we know there was a revolt in Boston because they put scanners in 8 years ago, and they've had huge cancer clusters, 7-fold increase. We also know that a lot of TSA agents ask for my autograph. They say, hey, we don't like what's happening. But it's always the supervisor when you opt out that charges over, who's got the handlebar mustache or looks like a pedo. And now we learn all over the country they are pedophiles. The leaders, the commanders of the TSA and the commanders of the gates in Pennsylvania and Dallas and all over are pedophiles, convicted or defrocked pedophiles of small children. So the commanders are pedophiles, and what the TSA is at the airports is a testing ground to find the army of darkness that will carry out the new ground war at the checkpoints against the American people. So the cops will stand back. They'll deliver you to the armored rape room on the side of the highway. I'm not kidding, folks. I'm serious.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem that way, and you can imagine these defrocked priests or other sex offenders sitting in their little manager's office watching on camera the little boys and little girls being groped by their underlings. I've had a lot of problems with, and I've seen a lot of other people have problems with these mid-level supervisors. They seem to have this kind of disregard for the people when complaints are made that we don't even see at the front line.
The pedo-visors, sure, pedophiles, helpers, sure, absolutely.
Yeah. You don't even see that kind of attitude usually from the front line, the blue-shirted people that are running the checkpoints. Usually it's kind of just a we have to do our job attitude. And if you've ever gotten a pat-down that didn't involve touching your genitals, that's exactly why. It's not because the TSA wasn't supposed to touch your genitals. It's because these screeners just chose not to, because they're sick and tired of touching people's balls all day long, essentially. These mid-level supervisors are a little bit different. We call them transportation security managers, and above them they have the federal security directors, the FSDs. And these people actually set what the local policy is, and they ensure that your grope is nice and thorough.
Well, I want to be clear. Ron Paul has said it. Jesse Ventura. I've witnessed it repeatedly with Ventura. Miss USA described it as being lifted off the ground. They went in her pants and went in her body. Okay, and that's what the feds are telling them to do. I want to finish up for a few minutes with you, then big Bilderberg breaking news and more. We'll even take some calls. 800-259-9231 coming up. A couple more minutes with our guest. 800-259-9231. Look at the skyline of Austin, Texas out there as we go to break. We'll show you the sky cam. All right. You guys have not had any of our regular liners today, which is fine. Kind of fun. That's enough of that commie music. All right, we're going to cut the sky feed off here so folks don't know where our exit is. But we've still got the video feed here in the bus. We're only like 5 miles away from the command center, Infowars.com. Man, I am fired up. Jon Corbett, an evil person that doesn't like being groped by weirdos, violating his Fourth Amendment, and doesn't like being radiated in strip searches and being lied to constantly, or illegal, not even cops, federally out of their jurisdiction, setting up checkpoints everywhere across the United States. He is bad. So am I. We're all horrible here. We should just love all the things they're doing to us. In closing, sir, other tidbits, other things people should know about out there, because here's my bottom line. Here, and I want you to comment on this and then give us any other little tidbits you've got. Here's my bottom line. If they fail at the airports and the streets, their federal takeover is over. This is the martial law rollout. They're admitting they're going to use the Pentagon against us. Huge treason is happening. But if they can't get average law-abiding citizens who aren't used to the system, aren't used to a perp walk, a perp lineup, I mean, that's what this is, a custodial arrest. They can't get their martial law in. Everything rests on defeating the TSA. That's why I salute DrudgeReport.com and WorldNetDaily.com and Infowars.com and all of you out there fighting these monsters from the wilderness. We're starting to have victories. Do you agree with that statement? And are we having victories, Mr. Corbett of TSA, out of our pants, you dirty perverts?
I think we are having victories. One of the things that I like to tell people is take that, if you see something, say something adage and use it for good. So if you see that there's a Customs and Border Patrol agent outside of where he's supposed to be, say something. Go up to him, ask him what he's doing there. Take his picture. Make him uncomfortable with what he's doing. Let him know that the citizens are actually watching. When I approached the TSA inspectors that were outside the music festival, they were shocked that anyone had even heard of what a Viper team was. So it's about time we take a little closer look. What is that patch on the side of that police officer's uniform that you don't recognize? Figure it out. Ask them. And the same in the airport. The goal is to take up as much of their time as possible. So if you can opt out of a body scanner, do so, because you know what? They're going to grope you anyway. About half the people that go through the body scanners end up being patted down anyway because they say there's something the body scanner couldn't detect on you, because these things don't actually work.
Look, if you're good looking woman, it's over. You're getting hardcore groped down. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so you might as well not give them a nude picture in the process as well. The fact of the matter is the TSA needs to screen about one passenger every 10 seconds at our nation's checkpoints in order to not have the line back up and people miss their flight. It takes about 5 minutes to do a full pat-down if you opt out of a search. So if only a small percentage of people actually opted out of the body scanners, they have to stop using them. Whenever an opt-out happens in an airport, you'll see that people start getting redirected to the metal detector lines because they can't handle the time.
You just hit the key. That's why my crew and everybody I know, when you fly out of Austin, if you do the body scanner, most of the time they grope you anyways. When you say no, they put you behind a line, try to make you miss your flight, and laugh at you, and keep saying, gonna miss your flight, and laugh. Especially, there's a guy with Rastafarian hair, I know he watches, who thinks it's very, very funny at the Bergstrom, but they all do it. And one guy put his glove on and said, "It's time for my pleasure," with McBreen and Marcos when we sent them to up to Georgia to cover the Army was involved in killing the guy that wouldn't stop having chickens legally, all part of the Homeland Security takeover. Yeah, you heard it here. Murdering us, all being announced here. And so, yes, this is how we resist. That's why when they had National Opt-Out Day, they just stopped scanning for 5 days because they knew it would show that they were a joke, but it also shows the terror threat's fake, because how could they just turn them off for 5 days? It shows it is a power grab scam. You're right. In fact, I think I'm going to start flying more again and just opting out with pleasure everywhere and just get there 2 hours early, make a big, long scene out of it with these terrorist helpers. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Alex.
Go ahead, John.
And if you encounter screeners like that in the future that are telling you about how they're going to get pleasure out of it and how they're going to make you miss your flight, ask for a law enforcement officer. Call the police. And honestly, if you seem like you're calm and in control of yourself, the police don't like the TSA. The police think that the TSA are encroaching on them. And yes, if you're throwing a fit at the airport, they're going to take you away in handcuffs. But if you say, officer, I'd just like someone to watch this pat down because I've been abused by TSA pat downs before, and I'd like you to make sure that won't happen. Guess what? Now that's increased the time from 5 to 15 minutes that the TSA has you there. They're scanning that many fewer people. We need another national opt-out day. We need to do this regularly. And if possible, every day should be opt-out day for anyone that's a frequent flyer. Just come an extra 10 minutes early to the airport. It's really not a big deal. And if they say, do you want to fly today? Or are you worried you're going to miss your flight? Just tell them, it doesn't really matter. I can catch the next one. And then they drop that line.
Absolutely. And, I sit there and say, you're all getting radiated. What you're doing is illegal. This is a federal power grab. You're on the streets. Do you want to live in a country like this? And they bring the pedo supervisor over. You're a troublemaker. Huh? And I go, I'm an American citizen, not a traitor like you. And I just we're going to beat you, scum. There ain't nothing you're going to do. The Republic is rising, and you need to get that through your little mackerel brain. All right, Jon Corbett, give us the exact URL of your site, your lawsuits, your slamming and bamming of the enemy.
Yep, it's TSAoutofOurPants.wordpress.com, and on there you can find all sorts of legal updates about what we're doing against the TSA, and also just general things that are going on, the new ways of encroaching on your freedom, and kind of how to defend against that. What you can do to limit how much groping you're going to get, and so forth.
Well done. I appreciate you joining us.
Thanks,
all right, let's jam in 4 or 5 calls. Thank you so much, sir. And again, folks, if it sounds like we're walking over each other, there's about a 1.5 delay with me. He's on Skype. He's got a 0.5 second delay, so it causes some of that. So we're going to jam in 4 or 5 calls right here.
Yep, I got the first one, Alex.
Let Aaron finish up with these big documents. Let's go to Brendan first in Wisconsin, then Will, then Julio, and others. Brendan, you're on the air, and the Eagle has landed. We're just about to arrive here at the InfoWars command base that exists because of your support, folks. Be sure and visit the online video bookstore if you want to see us continue. Okay, go ahead, Brendan. You're on the air.
Hey, thanks, Alex. You guys did such a great job down there at Bilderberg. I was one of the people that was with AFP, and we chose not to fly because of the TSA groping, and I'm surprised we can actually still make fun of TSA without experiencing some sort of... I thought they had some legislation that they were working on out of Georgia or somewhere where that would prohibit any sort of mockery or even comical commentary regarding TSA, and I thought we should have a nice music video. Maybe Mike, the health ranger Mike Adams, could help out with that. But
the answer to unconstitutional laws is ignore them. They say I can't make fun of their scumbag activity. It's my First Amendment. They say Australians can't criticize carbon tax. Everybody together say no. It's time to say no to these out-of-control criminals.
And also, being the first 3 people into that bar, and we really wanted to photograph that the Waterloo painting. We had our cameras turned off. Nothing was going on. We were discussing how to put black tape over top of the red lights so they wouldn't know that we were filming. We were surrounded by security. Charlie Skelton hadn't gotten there yet, and Luke Rudowski hadn't. They were on their way probably up the driveway, and we were just whispering about the electrical tape. And within a minute, we were surrounded by security telling us to turn off our cameras. They weren't on yet, but we were just talking, whispering, and there was no one in the bar except for a bartender, a Pakistani-American bartender named Abdul, and ourselves, and a couple of spooks. And it was just amazing. They might have had some equipment in there picking up that audio. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they did. I'm not going to go any further than that, but yes, sir. Okay, let's go to, thank you for the good points there. Let's talk to Will in Oklahoma. You're on the air worldwide at the end of our official massive Bilderberg coverage, but the exposure just begun with the data dump we just got. Bilderberg leaks, LinkedIn Red at Infowars.com. Go ahead, Will.
Hey, thanks, Alex. Great job at Bilderberg and great interview with Webster Tarpley.
I saw yours and also Adam Kokesh's. I just wanted to make a quick point listening to you and John. I have my cousin-in-law actually works for the TSA here in Tulsa, and been talking to her about if they're comfortable with all the procedures, and it's actually surprising most